Hey everyone, welcome back. So today we're talking to military veterans about the moments that made them question everything, the stuff that doesn't make it into recruitment videos. These aren't war stories, these are how is this real life stories, the kind of chaos only the military can produce. We asked veterans from different branches to share their most unbelievable experiences, and honestly, some of the stuff you couldn't make up if you tried. Hit like if you've served or know someone who has, subscribe for more, and definitely share your own military stories in the comments. Let's get into it.
I was a lieutenant in charge of equipment accountability for my unit. We're talking millions of dollars of gear. Every quarter, we do a full inventory, count everything. Weapons, vehicles, tools, all of it. This particular quarter, we're going through the vehicle count. Humvees, trucks, trailers, and we're missing an M1 Abrams tank. A 70-ton tank, just gone. Not damaged, not in for repairs, missing. I tell my sergeant, he thinks I miscounted. We count again, still missing one tank. We check all the motor pools, all the maintenance bays, the training areas, nothing. I have to report this to my commander. Walk into his office. Sir, we're missing a tank. He looks up from his paperwork. What do you mean, missing? It's not on the property. We can't find it. He stands up, walks out of his office, goes to the motor pool himself, personally counts the tanks. Comes back. You're right. Where the hell is my tank? We spend 2 weeks looking. Everyone's searching. MPs are involved. It's a whole thing. Finally, someone remembers that 3 months ago, a tank was sent to another base for depot-level maintenance. The paperwork was never filed. Just drove off the base. Nobody documented it. We call that base. Do you have one of our tanks? They check. Oh yeah, it's been here for 12 weeks. We thought you knew. The tank was 600 miles away, at a different base, being repaired, and nobody thought to mention it. My commander had to brief the battalion commander about how we lost and found a 70-ton vehicle. I've never seen someone so angry and relieved at the same time. The paperwork for that tank transfer was like 40 pages. After that, we had a new policy about vehicle tracking.
Just misplaced a tank. Normal Tuesday. The casual, oh yeah, it's been here for 12 weeks. Like it's a borrowed lawnmower. 70 tons. That's 140,000 pounds of armored vehicle. Just forgot to mention it left. The image of a commander personally walking out to count tanks because he doesn't believe his lieutenant is very funny. And 600 miles away. That tank went on a road trip and nobody noticed for 3 months. Next story.
We were doing a 3-day field training exercise, basically camping in the woods, doing tactical drills, eating MREs, the whole deal. Second day, we're doing a navigation exercise. Teams of 4, given coordinates, have to reach the objective. My team gets our coordinates, we start moving, using map and compass, no GPS, old school. We're walking for about 2 hours, through thick woods. It's summer, hot, humid, miserable. Finally, break through the tree line. We should be at a clearing with our objective marker. We're in someone's backyard. Not military property, a civilian house with a family having a barbecue. They're grilling burgers, kids are playing, and 4 Marines in full combat gear just walked out of the woods. Everyone freezes. The dad is holding a spatula, just staring. My team leader goes, is this checkpoint Delta? The dad, this is my house. Turns out our map coordinates were wrong, off by about 2 kilometers. We'd walked completely off the training area. We apologize, explain we're lost, ask if we can use their phone to call our unit. The mom, bless her, offers us burgers, says we look hungry. We're not supposed to interact with civilians during exercises. but also we're definitely lost and these burgers smell amazing. Team leader makes a command decision. We accept the burgers. We're sitting in this family's backyard, in full gear, eating cheeseburgers when our lieutenant shows up. He'd been tracking us, saw we went off course, followed, finds us having a barbecue with civilians. I've never seen someone so confused and angry simultaneously. We got smoked for hours after that, push-ups until we couldn't feel our arms. But those burgers were worth it. The family sent a letter to our commander later, said we were very polite, included a photo of us at their barbecue. That photo ended up on the unit board as a reminder to verify your grid coordinates.
The mental image of a family barbecue interrupted by 4 Marines emerging from the woods like cryptids. The dad just standing there with a spatula. "This is my house!" And the mom offering him burgers. That's some top-tier hospitality. "These boys look hungry." The lieutenant finding them mid-burger, just the betrayal and confusion. But the family sending a letter with the photo is actually really sweet. And it becoming an official reminder on the unit board is perfect military logic. Moving on.
I was a corpsman attached to a Marine unit, deployed overseas. My job is basically combat medic for the Marines. We're at a remote outpost, middle of nowhere, limited medical supplies. One of the Marines comes to me, says his tooth hurts. Okay, dental pain, not uncommon. I look at it. Cavity. Bad one. Needs a dentist, but we're not getting extracted for a toothache. Give him some ibuprofen. Tell him to deal with it until we rotate back to main base in 2 weeks. 3 days later, he comes back. Face is swollen. Jaw is twice its normal size. This is now infected. Badly. We don't have dental tools. I can't extract a tooth. I have antibiotics, but this is beyond that. His face is getting worse. Fever. Pain is excruciating. I tell our lieutenant we need to medevac him. This is serious. Lieutenant pushes back, says we can't call a medevac helicopter for a toothache. I explain it's not a toothache anymore. It's a spreading infection. If it gets to his brain, he dies. Lieutenant finally agrees, calls for medevac. Helicopter comes, takes him to a surgical hospital 2 hours away. Dentist there said the infection was about 24 hours from being lethal. Abscess had formed, was spreading toward his jaw joint and up toward his sinus cavity. If it had reached his brain, sepsis, death. They did emergency surgery, drained the abscess, removed the tooth, IV antibiotics for a week. Marine survived, came back to unit 3 weeks later, missing a tooth but alive. I got chewed out for not catching it sooner. I caught it when his face swelled up. That's when it became visible. The Marine still thanks me, says I saved his life. I tell him I just called a helicopter. The surgeon saved his life. But yeah, a toothache almost killed him. That's military medicine in austere environments.
A cavity became a life-threatening infection in less than a week? That's the reality of limited medical resources in combat zones. The lieutenant not wanting to call a medevac for a toothache is understandable from a command perspective, but terrifying from a medical one. 24 hours from lethal, that's the margin. 1 day between swollen jaw and sepsis and death. And then getting chewed out for not catching it sooner, because visible facial swelling should have been predicted somehow. The Marine still thanking her years later probably means more than any official recognition. Next story.
I worked in supply. My job was receiving and distributing equipment to different units on base. We get a shipment, marked as repair parts for F-16 aircraft. Important stuff. Jets need parts. Shipment arrives. Big crates. We signed for it. Start unpacking. It's not aircraft parts. It's Furniture. Office furniture. Desk, chairs, filing cabinets. I check the manifest. Says aircraft parts. Crates say aircraft parts. Contents? Furniture. Call my supervisor. He comes down. We open more crates. More furniture. Someone, somewhere, packed the wrong stuff and labeled it as aircraft parts. Okay, mistakes happen. We'll send it back, get the right shipment. Then we get a call from a base in Germany. They received our furniture shipment, which they desperately needed. But it's labeled as aircraft parts, and they can't find any desks or chairs, just aircraft parts. Someone swapped our shipments at the depot level. Now we have Germany's furniture. They have our aircraft parts. The cost to ship this stuff back and forth, probably $50,000. My commander makes a decision. We'll keep the furniture, they keep the parts. We'll reorder what we actually need. But wait, we don't need furniture. We ordered aircraft parts. Commander says we'll find a use for it. We ended up giving furniture to every office on base. Admin buildings got new desks. Break rooms got filing cabinets. Nobody questioned where it came from. Free furniture is free furniture. The F-16 parts, we ordered again. They arrived 3 months later. The paperwork to explain this mix-up took me 2 weeks. Some auditor probably found it years later and had an aneurysm trying to figure out why aircraft parts became office furniture.
The mental image of some poor German supply sergeant opening crates expecting furniture and finding jet engine components. Where are the desks? We have turbine blades. The decision to just keep the wrong stuff rather than deal with international shipping logistics is actually very military problem solving. We'll find a use for it. Translation: everyone gets free stuff and we pretend this makes sense. Some auditor 5 years later. Why did aircraft maintenance receive 200 office chairs? Next one.
I was at an airport, flying home from visiting family. Still in uniform, easier than packing it. Guy approaches me at my gate, also in uniform. Army, like me. Says he's flying to Fort Bragg. We start chatting. Typical military small talk. Where are you stationed? What's your MLS? That kind of thing. Something feels off. His uniform doesn't look right. Ribbons are in the wrong order. Name tape looks weird. I ask him what unit he's with. He names a unit. I know that unit. My buddy's stationed there. Ask him if he knows my buddy. Uses his full name. Guy hesitates. Says, yeah, I think so. A lot of people on base. My buddy's a commander. Everyone in that unit knows him. I start asking more specific questions. What's your battalion? Who's your company commander? What barracks are you in? He's fumbling answers, getting defensive. Finally, I say, you know what? Let me call my buddy. He'd love to know you. Guy's face goes white. Says he has to make a phone call, walks away quickly. Never comes back to the gate. I check boarding. He's not on the flight. I report it to airport security, describe him, his fake uniform. They find him at a different gate. Security pulls him aside. Turns out his entire uniform is fake, bought online. He's never served a day in his life. He was using the uniform to get military discounts, sympathy, priority boarding. Airport security bans him from the airport. His information gets passed to federal authorities. Stolen valor is actually illegal if you're trying to get benefits. The worst part? He was wearing a Purple Heart. That medal is for being wounded in combat. He bought it on eBay. Some of us earned our injuries. This guy wore it as a costume. Security told me later he broke down crying when caught. Said he just wanted respect. Respect is earned, not bought with a fake uniform.
Wearing a Purple Heart you didn't earn? That's not just stolen valor. That's disrespecting everyone who actually bled. The guy wanting respect by pretending to be something he's not is the opposite of respectable. The veteran's questioning was perfect, specific enough to expose the lie. "Let me call my buddy" was the checkmate move. And breaking down crying when caught? Guilt? Or just upset about losing the benefits? Real veterans can spot fakes. The uniform details, the way someone carries themselves, the knowledge. It's obvious to those who served. Moving on.
I was getting promoted to sergeant. Big deal for me. 7 years in, finally making NCO. Promotion ceremony is formal. Commander reads the orders, pins on your new rank, everyone salutes. The whole thing. My family came. Parents, wife, kids. They're in the audience watching. Commander starts the ceremony, reading my accomplishments, service record, the standard speech. Then he calls me forward. I march up, stand at attention. He picks up the rank insignia, about to pin it on. His phone rings. Not on vibrate. Full volume, loud ringtone, some country song. Everyone freezes. Commander's face goes red. He's mortified. He tries to ignore it, continues pinning my rank. Phone still ringing. Finally stops. He finishes pinning, steps back, about to salute. Phone rings again. Same song, same volume. This time he pulls it out, answers it, during my promotion ceremony. Hello? No, I'm in a ceremony. I can't talk right now. Just text me. Hangs up, looks at me. Sorry, Sergeant. Salutes. Ceremony continues. Later at the reception, he apologizes profusely, says it was his wife. She was calling about picking up their kid from school. I tell him it's fine. It's actually hilarious. My kids still talk about it. Remember when the colonel answered his phone during Dad's promotion? It's been 5 years. Still gets brought up at family dinners. The video exists. Someone filmed it. I have it saved. It's my favorite military memory. Not because of the promotion, because even commanders are human and forget to silence their phones.
The country song ringtone during a formal military ceremony, the timing is chef's kiss. And then answering it during the ceremony while pinning rank. I can't talk right now, just text me. That's peak parent energy. Rank means nothing to your spouse when someone needs to be picked up. The fact that this is his favorite military memory, not because of the honor, but because it was hilariously human, that's actually really nice. 5 years later, still getting roasted at family dinners, that commander will never live it down. Next story.
I was deployed for 15 months. Afghanistan. Long deployment. Missed a lot of home. My daughter was 2 when I left. She's 3.5 now. Kids change a lot at that age. We're finally coming home. The whole unit, big homecoming ceremony planned at the base. Families are waiting, signs, balloons, the works. It's a whole production. We get off the buses, formation first, then we're released to find our families. I'm scanning the crowd for my wife and daughter. Can't find them. Crowd's huge. Finally see my wife. She's holding my daughter. I start walking toward them. My daughter sees me, in uniform, coming toward her. She starts crying, screaming, hiding her face in my wife's shoulder. She doesn't recognize me. I've been gone so long. She was 2, now she's almost 4. I'm a stranger. I'm standing there in front of my family, and my daughter is terrified of me. Other families are having these emotional reunions, hugging, crying happy tears. My daughter is crying because she's scared of the strange man in uniform. My wife is trying to calm her down. It's Daddy. Remember Daddy? She's shaking her head, won't look at me. This wasn't how I pictured coming home. We left the ceremony early, went home. I changed out of uniform into regular clothes, sat on the floor in the living room. Didn't approach her. Let her observe me. Took about 2 hours. Eventually, she came closer. Still cautious. My wife showed her pictures. "See, this is Daddy. That's him." Another hour. She finally let me hold her. Didn't hug back, just allowed it. Took 3 weeks before she was comfortable around me. 3 weeks of rebuilding trust with my own daughter. Nobody tells you about that part. The reunions in the videos are happy. Mine was heartbreaking. Eventually, we bonded. She's 7 now. We're close. But those first few weeks, hardest part of the whole deployment.
15 months. Half of her life at that point. The image of other families having joyful reunions while his daughter is terrified? That's devastating. Nobody tells you about that part. The videos show happy endings. They don't show the 3-week process of reintroducing yourself to your child. He had to earn his daughter's trust, like a stranger, because to her, he was. This is the reality deployment families deal with, not the heroic homecoming, the aftermath, the adjustment, the rebuilding. 3 weeks to reconnect with his daughter, after 15 months of protecting people he never meet. They're close now. That's what matters. But those 3 weeks will stay with him forever. Next one.
Basic training, Fort Benning, summer. Absolutely miserable. Our drill sergeant was terrifying. 6'4", former ranger, voice like a foghorn. Everyone was scared of him. He'd make people do push-ups for breathing wrong. We're in week 7 of 9, getting close to graduation, feeling slightly more confident. Mistake. We're in the barracks. Drill sergeant does a surprise inspection, looking for contraband, making sure everything's perfect. He walks down the bay, checking wall lockers. Everything's going fine. Gets to Private Johnson's bunk, opens his wall locker. There's a cat inside. A live cat, just sitting there, in the wall locker. Drill sergeant stops, stares at the cat. Cat meows. We're all frozen. This is going to be bad. This is going to be so bad. Drill sergeant turns around slowly. Private Johnson. Yes, drill sergeant. Why is there a cat in your wall locker? Johnson, bless his stupid heart, says, Drill sergeant, I found it outside. It looked hungry. I've been feeding it. You've been feeding it in your wall locker. For how long? 3 weeks, drill sergeant. 3 weeks. He's been hiding a cat for 3 weeks. Drill sergeant just walks out. Doesn't say anything, just leaves. We're standing there. Johnson is white as a sheet. The cat is still meowing. 5 minutes later, drill sergeant comes back with the company commander. Commander looks in the wall locker, looks at Johnson. Private, do you understand this is government property? Yes, sir. Did you get permission to bring a cat into government facilities? No, sir. Commander's trying not to laugh. I can see it. He's biting his lip. Finally, he says, the cat needs to leave. Today. Call your family, have them pick it up. Johnson calls home. His mom drives 3 hours to pick up the cat from base. Johnson got smoked for hours after, but he got to keep the cat. It's been 8 years. He still has that cat, named it Benning, after the base. The drill sergeant later admitted it was the weirdest thing he'd seen in 20 years.
Why is there a cat in your wall locker? A question the drill sergeant never expected to ask. 3 weeks, he successfully hid a live animal in basic training for 3 weeks. That's actually impressive. The commander, trying not to laugh, even authority figures have limits to maintaining composure. It looked hungry. I've been feeding it. Johnson has a good heart. Terrible judgment, but a good heart. And he still has the cat, named Benning. That cat has seen some things. Moving on.
I was a Marine deployed to an African nation, training their military forces. advisor role. We're teaching small unit tactics, working with their soldiers daily, building rapport. One day, we're doing live fire exercises, teaching proper marksmanship techniques. Everything's going well. Their guys are learning. We're making progress. Break for lunch. We eat MREs. They eat food from home. Normal day. After lunch, one of their senior officers approaches me. Very serious expression. Through the interpreter, he says his men have a complaint. Okay, what's the issue? We'll address it. He pauses. They're offended that we won't eat with them. I'm confused. We just eat lunch together. Different food, but same time, same place. Interpreter explains, in their culture, refusing to eat someone's food is a grave insult. It means you don't trust them. We've been eating MREs every day, never tried their food. They think we believe it's poisoned or unclean. Oh no. That's not what we meant at all. I explained we have regulations. We're supposed to eat military rations. It's policy, not personal. The officer says policy is disrespecting their hospitality, their culture, their honor. This is becoming a diplomatic incident. Over lunch. I call my commander, explain the situation, ask for guidance. He thinks for a minute, then says, eat their food. That's an order. So we do. The next day, we share meals, try their dishes. It's actually really good. Goat stew, rice, flatbread, some stuff I can't identify but tastes amazing. The whole dynamic changes. They're happier, more cooperative, training goes smoother. Turns out respecting their culture made them respect us more. None of this was in our pre-deployment cultural training. We learned it by almost causing an international incident over lunch. By the end of deployment, we were eating together every day. I gained 15 pounds, but we successfully trained their forces and left on good terms. All because we learned to share a meal.
Policy is disrespecting their hospitality. That's a perspective shift. What seemed like a simple regulation, eat your MREs, was causing a genuine cultural offense. The commander making it an order to eat their food, that's good leadership. Recognizing when policy needs to bend for mission success. I gained 15 pounds, the real cost of diplomacy. This is the kind of story that doesn't make headlines. No combat, no heroics, just people learning to understand each other over goat stew. But it mattered. Training succeeded because they learned to respect cultural differences. Last story.
I was attending my old commander's retirement. He'd served 30 years, Vietnam vet, multiple deployments, highly decorated. Retirement ceremonies are formal, speeches from leadership, awards presented, traditional stuff. His ceremony was packed, hundreds of people, everyone he'd served with over the decades. The general gives a speech, talks about his service record, impressive stuff, medals, commendations, leadership positions. Then it's time for the retiree to speak. My old commander stands up. Everyone expects the standard speech. Thanks for the memories, proud to have served, going to miss it, etc. He starts different. I need to tell you something I've never said publicly. Room goes quiet. I almost didn't make it through my first deployment, Vietnam. I was 19, scared out of my mind. There was a night where I sat in my hooch with my rifle, seriously considered shooting myself. You could hear a pin drop. This is not standard retirement speech material. I didn't think I was brave enough, strong enough. I thought I was failing everyone. My sergeant found me, sat with me all night, didn't lecture, didn't judge, just sat there. At dawn, he said one thing: you don't have to be brave forever, just for today. People are crying now, including him. Every day after that, when it got hard, and it got hard a lot, I told myself, just for today. I served 30 years, one day at a time. If you're struggling, if you think you can't do this, you don't have to do it forever. Just for today. Then tomorrow, do it again. He sits down. Room is silent. Then everyone stands. Standing ovation for several minutes. That sergeant he mentioned, he was in the audience. In his 80s. In a wheelchair. My commander walks over to him. Salutes him. Thanks him. Old sergeant salutes back. Says, "You did good, son." There wasn't a dry eye in the building. That's what 30 years looks like. Not medals or ribbons, not missions or deployments. It's surviving one day at a time and helping others do the same.
That's not the story we tell about military service. We talk about heroes, bravery, strength. We don't talk about 19-year-olds sitting with loaded rifles trying to find reasons to stay. That sergeant sitting with them all night, not fixing it, not lecturing, just being there. And 30 years later, finding him in the audience, thanking him. That sergeant saved his life and probably never talked about it. One day at a time, for 30 years. That's the real strength. Not the medals, not the commendations, the daily choice to keep going. Let me wrap this up. So those were 10 stories from military veterans. Some funny, some chaotic, some deeply human. I think what strikes me is the range. Missing tanks and hidden cats, right alongside near-death infections and retirement confessions. That's military service. It's not one thing. It's absurd bureaucracy and life-or-death decisions, sometimes in the same day. The guy who questioned stolen valor, the corpsman who saved a life over a toothache, the father who had to reintroduce himself to his daughter. These aren't Hollywood stories. They're real, complicated, human, and sometimes involve accidentally attending civilian barbecues or hiding cats in wall lockers. The last story, though, that one stays with you. 30 years of service started with one sergeant sitting with a scared kid all night and ended with thanking him in front of hundreds of people. Just for today. That's powerful. Not just for military. For anyone struggling with anything. You don't have to conquer forever. Just today. If you're a veteran or know someone who is, these stories probably feel familiar. The chaos, the brotherhood, the moments that don't make sense until years later. If you've never served, I hope this gave you a glimpse. Not the recruitment video version, the real version. If you enjoyed these stories or they meant something to you, hit like. Subscribe for more and share your own experiences in the comments. I know there are more stories out there. For those who served, thank you. For the big stuff and the small stuff. The heroic moments and the absurd ones. And for everyone else, just for today. Whatever you're facing, just make it through today. Thanks for watching. Take care of yourselves and each other. See you next time.